Welcome to New Life Live with host and founder of New Life Ministries, Stephen Arterburn. For 35 years, New Life has been transforming lives one at a time thanks to the giving hearts of you, our listeners. Our goal is to provide you with wisdom from God's Word to give you hope and help in life's hardest places. If you have a question you'd like to ask today, our phone lines are open. Call 1-800-229-3000. That number again is 1-800-229-3000. Now here's Steve.
Hi there, welcome to New Life Live. And what a great week this is, Thanksgiving week. And if you don't have anything to be thankful for, well, just be thankful that you're able to realize you don't have anything to be thankful for. Your brain still works. Okay, not good. Anyway, we've all got something to be thankful for because we've all been given this great gift. We're an anomaly in the universe is that we have a life. And two lives that I greatly appreciate. One is JJ West. Hi, JJ. How are you today?
Hey, Steve. I am well, and I'm thankful to be on. Good to see you.
Good to see you. And, of course, JJ does our Every Man's Battle, and then also Intimacy in Marriage. And then my longtime good friend, Dr. Jill Hubbard. Hey, Jill. How are you?
Good, Steve. How are you guys?
Excellent. And so here we are. And you could talk with us face-to-face or ear-to-ear, I guess it would be, ear-to-mouth. 1-800-229-3000. Now, I want to tell you guys a realization I had just today. I have a weird brain. Most people know that, and I have a strange thing is that there was a certain age where we lived in a little house. And it was the house that almost burned down when I hid the matches under the couch. The couch stuffing had hay in it, and so that was one thing. But I can remember in that house having my diaper changed. And most people, that's just, you don't have that. All right. So here's a memory that also goes along with that kind of memory. I remember the song, I Saw Mommy Kissing Santa Claus. I didn't see that. Here's what I saw. I saw my father eating the cookies and drinking the milk that we had left out for Santa. Okay? I saw that. And my mother watched it. You know what I still remember what my reaction was. How could she let him do that? Now think about that. I went to my mother as the problem when my dad was eating the cookies. Yeah. Don't we see that all the time? Dad can be out there having affairs, abandon the family, take all the money, and the reaction is you're angry at your mother. Yeah. It's like, how could she let him do that? I mean, isn't that a common phenomenon? And I just had this realization. I did that impulsively as a very, very small child under 3 years of age.
Right. You were thinking, how could she let him steal from Santa?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Doesn't
That's
she
also
care?
part of the
Doesn't she care about Santa and what this might do to him?
Poor Santa's going to be hungry.
Weird. Isn't that weird that it wasn't, how could Dad steal Santa's cookies? It was, how could Mom let him do that? And I have to believe some people are listening, and you got big problems with Mommy. You're angry. And when you think about it, oh my goodness, it was your dad that was stealing the cookies. It was your dad that did the stuff. But your mom's safer to be angry at.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Or you just have this belief that she should have done something, done more, whatever. It's really important, I think, to realize that because it's Thanksgiving. You might realize, wow, I've been holding something against my mom that, well, she didn't do this. It was him. And, of course, vice versa. It could go the other way, too. Mm-hmm. And all of us have a job, talked about it yesterday, of getting over our parents. And if we don't, it's a miserable time. If you want to join us, 1-800-229-3000. We'll go to Mary right after we come back from this break. Glad you're with us. Hi, this is Steve Arterburn from New Life Live, and Chris Williams and I are doing the Emotional Freedom Workshop. I don't know of anybody that wouldn't benefit from emotional freedom. We're all bound or stuck or struggling in some area. What are we going to do there, Chris?
Just really help people get clarity around the places where they're stuck in their life. They sort of circle the same mountain of disappointment over and over and over again. You're going to be able to see that mountain clearly and get to a new place of what we call emotional freedom, which is simply I can feel in the world, build a relationship to it, and know what to do with my experiences.
The New Life Emotional Freedom Online Workshop is Saturday, December 2nd. Steve Arterburn, Chris Williams, and Dr. Jackie McHarris will present information on trauma, depression, codependency, and more. And small group leaders will help you process the information you learn. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433 or register online at newlife.com. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
My life prior to New Life, I was definitely a fellow dealing with every man's battle, struggles of temptation that led to some very horrific issues that I truly regret. And I felt like a leper. I felt like an outcast, and I didn't know where to turn. And a friend of mine told me about every man's battle offered by New Life. The counselors were just amazing. I thought I was going to go there and really meet some people that were far left of center. I was wrong for even judging them like that. The folks that I met that were in the struggle with me were normal people just like me who had fallen and went astray. The counselors, they had been in the pit themselves, so they were speaking from the inside out. They understood my struggle completely and entirely. And because I was able to go to this place that I'd never heard of, that I didn't understand, it had changed my life and given me new hope that I couldn't get from any other counselor. But New Life really does speak life to you. They get you on the track. They love you, and they personally know you, and they care about you.
I'll tell you, that is music to my ears. And I'll tell you the part that I love is when he says they love you. Because, we do. And if we don't show that love, if you don't feel that love, then, we're not doing the best that we can do. Bible says, and if I have not love, well, nothing else really matters. And you could be that guy. That you could be the testimony for next year by coming and joining J.J. West and his team December 1st, 2nd, and 3rd for Every Man's Battle. I want to encourage you to call us. Now, today we were talking about sending a letter to some of our Every Man's Battle alumni. And the point was brought out that about half of the people that would be on the list are women because they made the original call. So don't be thinking, yeah, you know what, he has to want it, he has to make the call. Don't think that way. Sometimes a person's paralyzed and you make a couple of little baby steps with them, and then it's our job to get them to that place you're hoping that they would be, where they finally say, okay, I want to surrender to this and I want to get better. 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Talk to us about your situation. And December 1, 2, and 3 could be the best thing that ever happened for 2024. Joe, you were saying something about the thing I brought up.
Right, about the dynamic that you brought up and taking it another step. So often, parenting falls on one parent or another. It can be either, but often it's the mom that the parenting falls on. And I'm not speaking about your personal situation, Steve, but if a dad is checked out, even the kids see him as one of the other children.
Yeah.
Right? So directing the anger towards the only adult in the room often happens.
Well, my father was a disciplinarian, but he was also codependent. And when my grandfather needed one of his 5 boys to stay back, not go to college, and manage Arts Tool and Supply, the machine shop he had, my dad was the one that, as my mom would say, sacrificed everything he wanted in life because he was codependent with his father. So we learn things when we observe things. All right, if you want to join us, here it is, 1-800-229-3000. And if we give you bad advice, we will refund your misery. Absolutely, we'll do that. It costs nothing to call us, and we'll give you your money's worth when you do, 1-800-229-3000. Now, Mary's calling from Washington, D.C., and she watches us on the New Life Live YouTube channel. Mary, welcome, and so glad you've joined us today.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Steve. I'm just grateful today, and some things have gotten much better in my life over the past year. My mom died a year ago, and I'm able to sleep better, and my head just doesn't feel as full with clouds.
Yeah, how did you get to that place? How did it get better? What did you do?
I kept up on my AA meetings, and I saw a therapist, and now I'm graduating from seeing her. And I try to talk more about it with people because I'm kind of a loner, an avoider. And good things have happened.
You know, what I love about this, and I want to hear from JJ and Jill, is you say you're a loner, an avoider, and the things that you did wouldn't be natural things. You did stuff. You reached out. You got help rather than avoid alone, which is just people's go-to. I think it's fantastic, Mary, and I hope you'll be an inspiration to other people that are avoiders or procrastinators, whatever. Do the thing you don't feel like doing, and then you end up feeling the way you wanted to feel in the very beginning. JJ, what are your thoughts?
Oh, I so agree with that, Steve. You know, there's one of my favorite authors is Eugene Peterson, and one of my favorite books by him is a book called A Long Obedience in the Same Direction. And one of the points he makes there is in I think it's chapter 4, but it's the chapter on worship, where he talks about people not wanting to go to worship because they don't feel like it, so they don't want to be a hypocrite. And he says this line, you will act your way into a new way of feeling a lot faster than you will feel your way into a new way of acting. And what you just said, Steve, is absolutely accurate. We can't sit around waiting for this feeling to hit me and then I'll go behave differently. I have to choose to behave differently. I have to tell my brain, no, even though this is what I want, what I feel like doing, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do the opposite because the opposite of what I feel like doing is actually what's good for me. And so, Mary, well done. Well done to push yourself to go into therapy, push yourself to go to your AA meetings, even though you're a loner, even though you want to avoid, you chose instead to act in a new way that led to a new feeling rather than trying to feel your way into a new way of acting. Good job.
Jill, thoughts?
Yes, that's a tongue twister, JJ, but I love it. Mary, even introverts, or as you say, loners, need people. You may not need the huge crowds, but you need people. And what I love is that you already had some things in place. You said you stayed continuing in your AA meetings. You were already, I'm thinking, going to AA. So you already had some resources in place. So when the crisis hit, you weren't at a total loss. And then you took it a step further and you got into therapy, which is great for loners because it's one-on-one. It's not a crowd. So in that, there's the freedom and room to explore, but not alone, because healing does take place in relationship. And I love your perseverance. So over time, getting involved in healing relationships over time produces growth.
Yes. Can I build on that, Steve?
Yeah, please.
Just so, Mary, I lost my mother just about a year ago, very suddenly. She developed cancer, and she died within 2 months of the diagnosis. And just like Jill was saying, I had people in my life already, a solid community, men who care about me, who some of those men are the men that I get to serve with at the Every Man's Battle workshop, but also some close friends who live here in town that I meet with. And just like Jill was saying, because I'd already had that community in place, that crisis didn't blow up my life. It was hard, and there's still aspects that are difficult, but it didn't blow up my life because of that caring community. So like Jill, I'm really glad that you already had that in place and you continue to use it.
Mary, we're going to make you caller of the day, because anytime somebody,
Way to go.
you do something that is so not what you would just fall into or naturally do, it's a big deal. So here's what I'm going to do. I want to send you 2 Life Recovery Bibles, one for you, and hopefully you have one, but maybe this would be the new edition, would be great, and then one to give away to somebody. And if you have the new one, then you'll have 2 to give away, but I want you to have that. I'm so grateful that you called. By the way, Life Recovery meetings meet everywhere, and you can either learn how to start a group, you only need another person to have a group, or where one is going on in your area. We'll connect you with Terry Ward if you'll just call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Happy to do that for you. All right, if you want to join us, 1-800-229-3000. We're here in the studio, 2 programs we're going to do, but right now I'm going to go to Rosie. Rosie's calling from Culver City, and she listens to us as a podcast on her very favorite podcast provider, and anybody else can do that too. Hi, Rosie, how are you?
Hi, I'm doing well. How are you?
Excellent, excellent. So what's on your mind today? What's happening in your life?
I'm calling because this is a difficult situation that I'm in. I just remarried, or should say newlywed, to someone that's 63 years old. I'm 53 years old. But during our courtship, we've had difficulties with his children accepting us being together to begin with, and then even married now. And I want to know how to resolve those conflicts that come up. For example, his 46-year-old daughter lives with him in his home, and I had put some Christmas decorations up. When I'd come back from dinner with him, she had moved some things from the table that I had put and said I wanted to put his first wife passed away from cancer. He was married 30 years. And she goes, I want to put my mom's things up. And then she goes, you seem bothered. And I said, it's not so much about the decorations or you moving the things from the table. It's other things that I'm bothered with. So I proceeded to tell her the things that I was bothered with her trying to undermine our relationship. And she denied all the things that the things that I was confronting her with.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And then she became very combative and was slurring and saying things to me. I stayed calm because that's my nature. He really did not respond to the situation. And then she just walked away and said, just forget it, do whatever you want. And now, when I spoke to him yesterday, I said, these difficult conversations need to be addressed. You can't just sweep it under the rug. And I just feel like he is caught in the middle. I myself don't really know how to respond or what to do.
Yeah.
He has 3 children, 3 adult children.
Right.
2 boys live outside the home. And before we got married, the 3 of them on their own at separate times talked to him about us not getting married.
Okay.
We've been together for 2.5 years. And my situation where I took a stand was like, I want us to be married I don't want to be a girlfriend forever. I don't want to just live with you. I want marriage. If that's not what you want, it's okay. I'll walk away. But he came back and said, no, we're going to get married. And we got married. And I'm... Mm-hmm.
So, okay. I got to interrupt because I want to give you some help here. Now,
yes.
Of course, living together does stuff to people, first thing.
Yes.
And I want to be sure we say it's not trying to shame you. It's just to be sure people know that you end up not deciding to get married often when you live together. You slide into getting married. And so if you weren't living together, you would be able to say, this is not good, I'm out of here. But because you're living together, you go for it. And he didn't want to lose you because of all the things that you provided him living together. But here's the dilemma. He has a problem.
Together at the time. Yeah.
But he has a problem that if he's not willing to fix the problem, it's just going to get worse and worse. It's his problem that his children are not supportive of your marriage. It's common. That's why 70% of blended families end up in divorce. Horrible statistic. When we come back, we want to talk about what he could do if he would do it, and then what's the best path for you if he does nothing. We'll do that right after this. If you want to join us, 1-800-229-3000. Dr. Jill Hubbard, J.J. West, Steve Arterburn here. We'll be back.
I came kicking and screaming. The last 24 years have been filled with pain. I was violently molested and raped from the age of 6 to 13. It has changed everything in my life. This weekend for me has been life-altering. I have realized that God does love me, that this is my story, and that's okay for the first time in a long time.
This is Steve Arterburn, and this is the story of a new life. She came kicking and screaming and now has a changed life. You can be part of offering hope to others as you step out in faith by donating to New Life Ministry.
To make your tax-deductible gift, visit newlife.com and click Donate. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE or text NLM to 28950. That's NLM to 28950.
I've been listening to New Life for many years, gone to a few workshops. I want to support a ministry that helps people connect with God and with others and gives them the tools to help transform their lives.
You can help New Life Live stay on the air by joining Club New Life today. When you sign up to support us monthly through Club New Life, we'll send you the new member thank you gift of all 8 100-day devotionals, including 100 Days of Healing, 100 Days from Freedom from Shame, and 100 Days of Freedom from Anger. There are also ongoing benefits like the monthly Club New Life CD or download, access to the Club New Life video library, quarterly resources, free shipping on purchased resources, discounts on workshops, and quarterly online meetings with Steve. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Support Club New Life, and together we can help hurting people find help and hope in life's hardest places. Call 1-800-639-5433 to join Club New Life today. We'd love to hear from you. If you have a question or a comment, call toll-free 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back. Glad you're with us here. Talking with Rosie. Jill corrected me. I missed it totally 2 times that you didn't live together before you were married. But good
for other people to hear that.
Hopefully.
Steve.
Hopefully. Jill, you had some questions you wanted to clarify there.
Well, Rosie, a couple of things. How long ago did your husband's wife pass away?
She passed away 30 years. I'm sorry.
They were married
30 years. She passed away 13 years.
Oh, it's been 13 years.
13 years.
Okay.
13
okay.
Years.
Then
and when we initially dated, I see, and I only see this because I had some counseling with my own daughter who struggled with me getting married with him too, an adult daughter, for my marriage, and my husband passed away. And what I saw from his daughter's side, because when we were dating, he was like, "Oh, I didn't tell my children I'm dating you," and I explained to him, I said, "You need to be honest with your children. You can't start a relationship on lies," and he did. And then it was like, "Well, let me check with my daughter. Let me check with my daughter." And I'm like, "Ruben, you have to stop checking with your daughter and making decisions for yourself on your own." And so I feel like there's a codependency. And I say it for myself, too. Even with my daughter, I had to set some boundaries with her.
Well, sure, because sorry to interrupt you, when a spouse is removed, the kids come in and at times become like a pseudo partner. I'm wondering why a 46-year-old daughter is still living with her dad.
Yeah.
Especially now since you guys are married and all living together, and I can see where she feels like her place has been usurped, but rightly so.
Why is she living there with him? Or you, both of you?
I don't know. I on my side, I've never, and it goes back to my culture, Hispanics, where families live with families. So for me, it was never a request of, oh, your daughter has to leave. I thought the home was big enough. We could live together because before him, I purchased a home with my daughter, and we were living together. So I thought things were going to be fine, but I see that they're not, and it's not going to get better. I can see that.
Yeah.
I'm willing on my side to do whatever it takes.
Good.
I don't know what to do.
Now let me ask you this real quick. Are both of you working and both of you earning about the same amount of money?
I don't know what he earns. I would say maybe he would make more than I to earn.
Well, Rosie?
Yes.
It doesn't sound like you guys are married. You don't know even why the daughter's there. You don't know how much money he makes. You know what I would do? You guys need some premarital counseling, even though you're married.
I suggested this before we got married. I did.
Because but now you're going to have to demand some counseling together. Because premarital counseling, the guy would say, okay, so when we marry somebody, we marry their debts and we marry their income. So how much do you make? You make, and it's all, if it's good, everybody knows everything. And he has withheld stuff from you. Plus, he has taken no responsibility to lead his kids toward you. And that's, so I don't know. That's all I want to say. JJ, Jill, you take it from here. What's the best path here?
If it had been sooner or more recent that his wife had died, it takes the kids a while to catch up with that. So I could see where that would be problematic. But 13 years, the kids seem to be used to being in charge.
Yes.
And now you've married, but it's like two single people living together in a family home. And I understand culturally, yes, that does happen a lot, but not the hierarchy needs to be readjusted here.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and to Steve's point from earlier, when you have a blended family, the responsibility to speak to the children falls on the biological parent to bridge that gap. Right. So your husband has the primary responsibility of speaking with his children, checking in to find out, if he doesn't already know, what are their reasons for why they're resistant, right? They were resistant even when you guys were dating. So what are the reasons for that? Are they legitimate or not? If they're legitimate, then okay, we can address the legitimate concerns. But if they're not legitimate, then he has a responsibility to say, that's not your role. That's not your choice. It's my choice to marry her. It's my choice to live my life with her. And so he has that primary responsibility. In a blended family, you as the step parent, you want to have more like a good uncle or aunt role in the child's life. And in this case, they're not children. They're adults. And so that takes on a whole different dynamic. But I do say that it's your husband's responsibility. And so far what I'm hearing from you is there's been several places where he didn't step up. He didn't initiate things. He didn't proactively help. And that's what he needs to start doing. That's where counseling could help.
Yeah. And that tough conversation that you had with her, he needed to be part of that and supporting how you feel.
Yeah.
And supporting that she really needed to look at what she was saying and how you feel and adjust her attitude if she's going to continue to stay there. But we have to move her out now. It's time that she become an independent person. Well, we'll talk more when we come back.
Okay.
For for most of my life, I've been dealing with an opiate addiction.
Why is opioid addiction quickly becoming one of our nation's biggest killers? Maybe it's because it isn't only those who are addicted who are in denial.
We did what I see so many parents do, is it can't be an addiction. There's something medically wrong.
It's impossible to solve a problem when you don't know what you're up against, and families will try to find any explanation except the one that will put them on the right path.
Alcoholism and drug addiction is a family disease. It doesn't affect just the individual.
If someone you love is abusing painkillers, know what you're up against. It's time to admit it's addiction and seek treatment. Call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. We have Christ-centered partner treatment centers around the country. Call 1-800-639-5433 or visit us online at newlife.com.
We just made a decision. We will do whatever it takes.
1-800-NEW-LIFE. Chris Williams on coaching.
Oftentimes I get asked, what is the difference between therapy and coaching? The biggest difference between the two is that a therapist is going to be looking for a diagnosable mental health condition, whereas a coach is going to look at a particular issue and help a person work through that.
If you need a coach, call New Life today and ask about the New Life Coaching Network. Our coaches have been trained and screened with the same intensive process we use for our network counselors.
If you're looking at an issue in your life that you just kind of want to change, whether it be your weight or leadership or other areas of behavioral patterns, check out coaching. There can be some really, really helpful things for you.
Take control of your life and take action to achieve your goals. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433 and talk to us about getting a New Life coach. 1-800-NEW-LIFE. We're glad you joined us for New Life Live. To be a part of the program, call 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back. Rosie, I want to finish up with you. I'm going to give you a couple things. Jill's going to give you a couple things, and then JJ. And I'm so glad that you called. First of all, we're going to send you How We Love, because that's going to explain a lot. When you talk about the cultural things that make it comfortable, things, why you didn't really question her being there, you're going to have to move beyond culture if you're going to create any kind of a covenant marriage where both are committed. And you're going to have to go against a lot of things that you're used to. The first thing that I would hope you would do is to say to him, I was talking to some folks about this, and I think we need to share some information that we don't have about each other. I need to know how much money you make. I need to know what your thinking is about combining our finances. I need to know why you didn't just step up and support what I was saying when we were talking to your daughter that lives here. And I need to know why you think it's okay for her to be dependent on you and live with us rather than be independent. I need to know how much money she's getting from you. So they're just some basic things that you need to know to be a partner with him, and he needs to be willing to tell you. Jill, what else do you think?
Well, yes,
would be
because
helpful
the
for her?
partnership is a piece of paper,
Yeah.
but you don't have all of the information that people usually share prior to getting married.
Right.
And sometimes it's exciting to move in that direction. So having a conversation with your husband is really important. It's up to you, Rosie, to change this dynamic because he's comfortable with it. It sounds like you've moved into his home. And so to reestablish it and to even let him know, I think we were so excited about getting married, or I was so excited about getting married, I forgot to really, vet the situation in terms of us really talking through things, because everybody goes into marriage with unspoken expectations and the way they think it's going to be. And they don't share those often. This is not an unusual problem. And not sharing those. Go ahead.
Honestly, on my side, I was married so young. He was married so young. And when I met him, I thought, and then after my husband, it was years before I got into a relationship. And then I actually lived with someone for 10 years who took care of me financially. And even though I worked, took care of me in every way. And then when I met him 5 years later, in that process, I didn't date. I had given up and thought nothing. I was just dedicated my life to my family and spiritually too. And then when I met him, it was a surprise. And I love that he's a family man and loves his family and grandchildren and children. And I didn't have the expectation, or I came into it thinking, no, he's not going to support me financially. So those questions of the finances or even of the expectation of like his daughter, I didn't have or press those because I didn't feel a need for it. I was thinking differently, like I'm independent.
That's
now we
right. Because of your past experience, you didn't think to ask those questions. You assumed they would be like what you've had in the past.
So we want to just tell you,
and
here's
you can admit
the
that
next,
to him.
Yeah. And what's the next thing for you to do to change all this? JJ, what are you? I mean, I can't imagine anything changing without a counselor.
I would agree. I think it's necessary to bring in some professional help. I think it would be helpful as well. Rosie, let me ask you a question. How did you guys make the decision for you to move into his home rather than him moving into your home, or the two of you getting a different home?
The option of getting another home, I've never had. I never asked that, and it was just easy to move here because his home is bigger than my home. So
so that was a decision that you guys.
Yes.
But it was the decision you and your husband made together. Then, a fiance. But you guys decided that because his home was bigger, it made more sense for you to move into his home.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what?
And did
what
you
should
talk
she
about
do now, JJ?
Yeah. Well, so
everything?
what should have happened was there should have been conversations around. Well, what will this look like if I move into your home where your daughter is already living there and there's already established ways of doing things? How are we going to navigate the minefield of me coming in with a different way of doing things? So now we have to have that conversation. We should have had it, 2.5 years ago, but now we need to have it now because now we're seeing the problems. Now we're seeing the chaos because we didn't establish what some of those expectations would be. We each had our own individual expectations. We didn't voice them. Now we need to.
I'm sorry. The children on his side. The children on his side feel like I'm trying to replace or erase their mother.
Right, but that's his responsibility.
That was the one thing that I.
Yeah,
that was the one thing that I did ask. Was the pictures to be taken down?
Well, and that is the problem
request.
with moving into his home.
Yep.
That's where all their memories are of her. But it has been 13 years. He's entitled to move on. And some people see it as a tribute to a spouse that's passed away, that they would want to get married again because it was good. Right?
And there are many, many people who would never want to live where the other people lived, especially if you sense that after all these years, there's unfinished business there. And, I really think probably one of the pieces of the ultimate resolution is selling that house and finding a place where you guys can be you. But a lot of work has to be done. And this is why so many blended and second marriages and third marriages don't work, is because we assume too much and we are a little bit more desperate after divorce, so we settle for things, and it just isn't good to settle. I'm going to send you How We Love. I want us to find a marriage counselor for you guys, and I hope you'll come to intimacy in marriage. It could change everything. All right, let's go real quick. Let's talk to Patrick, Bismarck, North Dakota. Hey, Patrick, how are you? KNDR is the station. What's on your mind?
I'm doing well. Yeah, I was just curious. I've developed these feelings for somebody and just recently asked her out, but it turns out that she's engaged to be married. And so my question is it a sin to have feelings for somebody that's engaged to be married? And is it a sin to seek God in prayer that things would work out between me and the woman that's engaged to be married when there hasn't actually been like the full marriage thing?
Yeah. What's your relationship like with this person that you'd like to be closer to but is engaged?
We have a good relationship. I have a really good relationship with her family, like her parents and and with her daughter.
Okay.
And she's a widow also.
Does she know that you have these feelings for her?
Just recently I brought that to her.
And what was her response?
She said, "Oh no, I don't think that's a good idea. I'm dating somebody, and I just don't think that would be healthy." And then that's when I opened up to her how I feel about her, and then she, I asked her if she would consider letting me know if things didn't work out with her and her fiance. Or
what'd she say to that?
She would.
She
said she would.
Okay.
That she would let me know if things don't work out.
Pretty fascinating situation we have here, and yeah. So I want to help you do the most very right thing. One final question: do they have a date for their marriage set?
That I don't know.
Okay. All right. Oh, that must be so disheartening that you finally find somebody you really would like to be with, and they have a lot of things already in motion there. It's very, very tough. We'll give you some help right after this. You're listening to New Life Live, and we'll be here another hour and 15 minutes at 1-800-229-3000. 1-800-229-3000. Our next intensive, our workshop, weekend experience, well, that's going to be Emotional Freedom online December the 2nd. It's the same weekend that we're doing Every Man's Battle, December 1, 2, and 3 in Dallas, Texas. That's not online. Oh my goodness. Clean up the stuff from 2023 and before to have a great 2024.
We all face days where life throws us a curveball and our routines or plans get disrupted. Things we wanted to do are forced to take a backseat to the unexpected demands of the day. If you normally listen to New Life Live on a radio station, well, you might not be able to that day. And on these hectic days when you're feeling stressed or frazzled, hearing the sound of counsel given on New Life Live is just what you need to navigate the unexpected things of life.
Every time I'm troubled or I have a problem, I'll cut on New Life, and there's always something that is said that is helpful to me.
By listening, I have learned more than I can ever express about how God wants me to live.
Download the New Life app for the easiest way to listen wherever you are and at a time that's convenient for you, or watch the show on our YouTube channel. You can even subscribe to our podcast from your favorite podcast provider. You never have to miss a day of New Life. Wherever you are, we are.
I was sort of vaguely familiar that the 12 steps had some origination in the Bible. I found Life Recovery, and one of the things I liked so much was that it had such a broad appeal. It wasn't limited to just alcohol or drugs, that it was addressing a wide range of problems.
At New Life, we believe everyone can benefit from a life recovery experience. There are life recovery groups all over the country. They take place online, in conference calls, and in person. And if there isn't one in your area, we can help you start one. We have startup materials, leaders' guides, CDs, Bibles, and more, all with discounts available for groups. Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE and ask for Terry Ward. The 12 steps have long been a great help to people in recovery because much of the 12 steps power comes from the fact that they capture principles clearly revealed in the Bible.
The 12 steps is really a pattern for all of us as Christians.
Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back talking to Patrick. And by the way, if you want to join us, we're here another hour and 15 minutes, 1-800-229-3000. And Patrick, well, fell in love with somebody that's engaged, and you say that you're close to her family. Jill, you had a couple of things you mentioned at the break there.
Yes, along those lines, Patrick, you described being friends, being close to the family, close with her daughter, her parents, and yet you didn't even know she was dating someone, let alone engaged. And I'm wondering about that.
Yeah, that was a surprise to me. I asked her. Somebody told me to ask her parents' permission to ask her out, and so I did. And that was when I found out that she was engaged to be married. And then,
so you asked you asked them for permission. They told you she's engaged, but you still asked her out?
When they told me she was engaged, I said, well, do you mind if I still ask her out? And the reaction was like, well, I don't see why not. And then the mother said, oh, Patrick, we love you so much. You have our blessing in a way. I don't know if she said that in those words, but that's what she kind of insinuated. And she gave me a hug.
Okay. So there's some confusion there with the family, because if someone came to me and asked to ask out my daughter and she were dating or engaged to someone else, I would say, no, it's not okay for you to ask her out. She's already with someone else. That's not appropriate. You know, you asked a couple questions, Patrick, at the beginning. You asked, is it a sin to feel the way that I feel toward this woman? No, it's definitely not a sin that you feel the way you feel. Feelings are they're just there for information, but they don't control us. It's what may be a sin is an unwillingness to accept reality when it doesn't fit with what I want. And so in this particular case, the fact that she's not available to you, but you still continue to pursue her, that may be sinful behavior. That may be broken behavior. And I would want you to be willing to investigate that. I would want to know, is there a history where have you been attracted to or wanted to be in a relationship with other people who were unavailable to you? Either they were married or engaged or dating?
I was that way with men for many years, and so I always had to kind of hold it inside because it was uncomfortable and all that, and I wasn't walking with God at the time. And so that's something God's helped me overcome, and so I thought that developing these feelings towards this woman and the fact that I had a good relationship with her family, it seemed like God was opening those doors for me to get into relationship.
Yeah, it gave you a lot of hope. Right?
Yeah.
Which is understandable. And listen, we don't know the future. We don't know what might happen down the road if this relationship with the guy she's engaged to didn't work out. Perhaps then she might be available to you. But right now she's not. And so it's important to accept that reality. And that's where I have to say, just because I feel a certain way doesn't give me permission to act on those feelings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Patrick, how old are you? I might have missed that. How old are you?
50. I'm 53.
Okay. All right. Jill, go ahead.
Well, perhaps, Patrick, the purpose of these feelings being stirred up in terms of your life journey is to let you know that you can have feelings towards a woman. And that's something to give you a lot of hope. And that in the context where you feel safe and connected, the natural progression was that you develop feelings, and that's a wonderful thing. So here, you can't act on it with her because she's saying no. So you have to hear her no, and hold your feelings back, and just be her friend, right? Don't cross those boundaries. But use that to say, well, if I could have feelings for her, I could have feelings for someone else who actually is available.
Yeah.
Now,
that
Patrick,
crossed my mind too. So
really, there's a lot of good stuff here, is what we're saying. And I want to encourage you somehow to find a Bible study, a men's Bible study. Okay. And are you able to talk, or is it just like a big shot teacher and everybody listens?
It's right now it's a small Bible study because it's just been me and one other guy, and every now and then another guy come into the Bible study. But we have been talking about this situation.
Good. Okay.
And
they've been
counseling me somewhat, and I'm seeing a counselor, and he's helping me with that too.
Perfect.
Yay.
Well, you're doing the right things, and just be patient. And I got to tell you, this isn't just some trite thing that Christians say when they don't have anything else to say. But God really does have another door open when this one door is shut. And so I just think when the door is shut, do what you need to do to kind of put a lock on it, And if something happens and the door needs to be blown open, that'll happen and you'll hear about it. Like if her engagement broke up or something like that. But I really would. I'd put a lock on that door, turn around and say, okay, God, where's that door they were talking about that's going to open up here? And be ready for that to happen. Lean into these men in the Bible study, whether it's 1, 2, or 3. Be open with them like you're doing. Go to that counselor. But a lot of things in your life get ingrained in your brain, and it takes time for things to kind of settle in and feel natural. So just be patient with yourself. I'm going to send you Every Believer's Thought Life, help you kind of deal with these thoughts and feelings that you have. And I'll send you Every Man's Bible, our way of saying thanks for calling us. And I'll ask folks to pray for you, because what I'm hearing is a heart that is open, but also open to doing what's the right thing. And I mentioned on the program yesterday in the 11th step, it talks about just not begging God for stuff like I do, or whining about things that aren't there like I do. But the 11th says that the step says we get to a point where we're just praying to God to know His will. That's the prayer. God, help me know your will and give me what it takes to carry that out. Boy, that's a pretty great place to be. And I think God's will for you, we know this, is to live a life full and rich, and some stuff from the past, like in all of us, has to get worked out for us to truly experience that and enjoy it. But you're on the right track. JJ, we've got Every Man's Battle coming up. You do such a great job. In 7 seconds, can you encourage somebody to come join you there?
Oh my gosh, this is your last chance of the year to go. It's going to be an amazing weekend in Dallas. Please come. If you've been on the fence thinking about it, make the decision. If you're on the fence thinking about whether you should call for your husband or your fiance, make the call, because it's going to be amazing.
You won't be disappointed. And everybody that goes talks about what a great communicator JJ is with such a great heart. So thanks, JJ. 1-800-NEW-LIFE to find out about that. 1-800-229-3000. Doing another program. We'll go to Megan at the beginning of that. Thanks, Dr. Jill Hubbard, and all of you. See you next time.
We hope
Bye-bye.
this program has helped you by giving you insights for handling the challenges you face in your life. We want you to know that we're here for you, but you also need to know that New Life Live is a listener-supported ministry. To make your donation or to get any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433, or write to us at New Life Ministries, P.O. Box 1029, Lake Forest, California, 92609. Please join us again tomorrow for New Life Live.
Hi, thank you for watching New Life Live. You know, New Life Live is a Christian counseling program where we deal with the hard questions about life, relationships, kids, free choice, freedom of will, whatever. It's all right there on New Life Live every day, every weekday, 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. If you want to call into the live broadcast, you can find the schedule on newlife.com or click the social media link right below. You can see every episode of New Life Live on the New Life YouTube channel. Watch it with a friend, watch it later. Be sure to subscribe and hit that bell so you'll never miss another episode. So if you want to listen on the go, download the app. The link is right below. And I hope if you need some information, if you want to get some help, you'll call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. And I'll see you next time.